first play we're going to go over is the de-anonymized web visits. We're also going to identify their tech stack and the job listing. All right, so I'm going to go into comment room here. So right now we have a pretty large list of 83,000 contacts. This is everyone that we're tracking today that has displayed any signal, right? So what I want to do for web visits is I'm going to add a few filters here. The first thing I want to do is find all contacts that have visited at least 2 pages on our website. You could even add like a time range here as well. You could even add specific like URLs if you have like higher intent pages, like you only want people that visited the demo, the pricing page, terms and service, whatever you identify as higher intent. I'm just going to go with number of pages visited as the web signal. All right. The next thing I want to do is start to filter down for economic buyers. So I'm going to do a contact tag here for economic buyers. What you're noticing is as I'm adding these signals and filters, that list of contacts is going to become more focused where we can build hyper-specific messaging for them. And I'm going to go even further here. The next thing I'm going to do is add org size. So I only want website visitors that have visited 2 pages, are economic buyers, and are at an organization that's at least, let's say, 25 people, just as an example. And now this is where we're going to layer additional signals, which most other platforms cannot do very well. And this is where Comment Room becomes very powerful. So I'm going to add a filter group here for tech stack. So I want website visitors that whose organization is using, in our case, I might use like a demand base as an example, where we feel like we can position well against them. And then I'm also gonna add something else here as a conditional filter, where if our tech stack signal can't find demand base, maybe they're mentioning it in their job listings. So let's do a keyword search here for demand base. So if they have a job listing that mentions demand base, that likely implies they're using demand base. So this is kind of like a catch-all. Either our tech stack signals finding demand base or they're mentioning in their job listings. I'm going to go to matches any of these 2 things, and I'm going to apply. So now we went from 539 contacts to a smaller number. It's 49 now. And now I'm going to add another signal. And that signal is going to be job listing title. So they're also, let's say, I'm curious to see people that are using demand base and are also hiring for sales roles. So job listing title. Let's do sale. They're hiring like sales SDRs, sales directors, sales ops. You can get as specific as you want here. It doesn't really matter, and it depends on like what actual play you want to run or what like role is interesting to you. So I'm just going to add a few different ones. Okay. So now what we've done is we've built the play off of web visits, economic buyers, organizations that are over 25 people. They're using demand base and they're also hiring for sales roles. And what I can do is create a segment so that whenever somebody meets this criteria, the rep gets alerted in real time, and we'll build a workflow that pushes these contacts that are now enriched directly into a sequence. So we use Outreach here. We can integrate with like Apollo, with SalesLoft, a lot of the main sequencers. And now the key here is you want to build sequences that are hyper specific. So this sequence is going to have messaging for web visits, hiring, sales, and using demand base. And one thing you're going to notice here, as I'm going to show you one of the emails that we use, we're not mentioning website visitors. It's just helping us prioritize and reach out to that person now with a relevant message. That's the whole point of the website signal. And that's why stacking signals is key. And we have hundreds of different signals. I just used 2 ones here. One thing that I like to do is actually go and find what we call a maverick at an organization. So this is usually somebody that we're selling to sales, mentions their quota attainment, it's always over 100% on their LinkedIn profile, or someone that's being promoted multiple times over the last few years, calling that person out to the sales manager in the email, mentioning the job postings, tying it to the problem with something like demand based where we feel like we can position very well, and then talk about what we're specifically doing differently. So that's play number one for de-anonymizing website visits.